Greetings from the channel again. We are analyzing a story, a remark, and a headline today that is so significant, so disruptive, and, to be honest, so contentious that it requires all of our full attention. As you can see from the video's title, we will analyze every aspect of this remarkable assertion. A seasoned tennis referee, who has experienced the sacred, immaculate grounds of Wimbledon, felt the crushed red brick of Roland Garros, seen the thrilling night sessions at the US Open, and endured the exhausting heat of the Australian Open, has just dropped a bombshell that is reverberating throughout the world of sports. This is the assertion. In the contemporary arena of public attention, Alexander Eala, the emerging adolescent prodigy from the Philippines, has somehow surpassed the fame of three of the most indisputable, eternal deities to have set foot on a tennis court. Roger Federer is the subject of our discussion. Rafael Nadal is the subject of our conversation. We are discussing Andre Agassi. Your initial thought upon hearing this is probably complete incredulity. How can a young star who has persevered through the demanding levels of the Women's Tennis Association and carved out a career for herself on the professional tour be included with three men who have defined several eras of international sports? How can the Swiss genius who elevated tennis to the level of art be eclipsed by a young woman from Southeast Asia? The Las Vegas showman who transformed sports marketing and culture, and the Spanish bull who redefined physical domination. In order to fully comprehend the severity of this veteran governmental surprise, we must redefine popularity in 2026. The number of television sets that are tuned into a Sunday afternoon final on traditional broadcast networks is no longer the only thing we are discussing. The quantity of branded goods sold in a physical store in London, Paris, or New York is no longer the only metric used to determine celebrity. Human attention has entirely disintegrated, changed, and rebuilt itself into a digital behemoth. Popularity is a measure of instantaneous hyperactive engagement these days. Millions of notifications lighting up cell phones in whole new emerging markets, the rapid-fire ecosystem of algorithmic reach, the immobility of highly localized but intensely committed digital armies, and the sheer amount of daily interactions are all ways to assess it. They were observing a dramatic change in the world's demographics when this seasoned official professed complete astonishment at Alexander Eala's popularity. They saw the torch being passed from the traditional tennis viewing bastions of Western Europe and North America straight to the Asian market, which is youthful, accustomed to digital media, and incredibly devoted. We will dismantle the conventional barriers of sports journalism in this comprehensive in-depth examination. We shall not merely examine this headline's surface. We are going to dig up the roots of tennis's renown. We'll look at the model of superstardom that Andre Agassi created in the 1990s. We shall examine Roger Federer's 2 decades of elegance and the apex of his global corporate branding. We'll look at Rafael Nadal's global influence and the spirit of the ultimate warrior. After that, we will move into the storm's center. We'll examine the phenomenon of Alexandra Eala. We will see how the Philippines, a country of over 110 million people that has previously been dominated by boxing and basketball, has suddenly become interested in tennis and is focusing all of its cultural energy on a single young woman. Is the assertion made by this official a transient quirk of social media algorithms? Or does it signify a long-term overhaul of the tennis hierarchy? Take a seat, settle in, and let's explore the intriguing conflict between contemporary digital superiority and historical legends. We must first determine the enormous mountains Alexander Eala is purportedly going over in order to fairly assess the assertion that she has outperformed these legends in any popularity metric. Let's go back in time and examine the origins of contemporary tennis renown. The Agassi Revolution, in which appearance became crucial. We must start with Andre Agassi if we are discussing popularity that goes beyond sports. Prior to the 1990s, tennis was mostly perceived through the prism of a very traditional country club. Collared shirts, spotless white clothing, silent applause, and rigid manners were all part of this sport. Andre Agassi comes on. He didn't enter the court by himself. Like a rock star who had unintentionally stumbled into a country club, he shot to fame. His vivid Nike clothing, his acid-wash denim shorts, his flowing neon mullet, and his unrepentant Las Vegas swagger. Agassi broke the stereotype. Agassi's fame extended beyond tennis enthusiasts. He was a world-renowned figure in pop culture. He starred in the renowned commercial campaigns for "Image is Everything." He was in a relationship with entertainers. He introduced the sport to an entirely new audience. People who have never handled a racket in their lives, including teenagers and rebels, watch only to see what Agassi is wearing and what he will do next. His appeal was unadulterated, obvious, and disruptive to culture. When a seasoned official considers the history of tennis celebrity, Agassi is seen as the turning point in the sport's development as a worldwide source of entertainment. Clicks were not used to gauge Agassi's popularity. Magazine covers, TV ratings, and the sheer amount of cultural noise he produced were used to gauge it. The Federer phenomenon is the pinnacle of international branding. A radically different kind of superstar was shown to the public as Agassi's reign entered its twilight. Rebellion was not Roger Federer's strategy. He used complete, unwavering grace to dominate the world. Of all the athletes in human history, Federer is arguably the most well-liked. He was a Swiss master who played tennis with such ease and fluidity that it was frequently likened to ballet or classical music. Global renown served as the cornerstone of Federer's fame. He rose to prominence as the face of the world's most opulent businesses: Shandon, MO, Mercedes-Benz, and Rolex. Federer was regarded as sporting royalty wherever he went, in addition to being an athlete. His widespread appreciation was a defining feature of his appeal. The crowds would cheer for him even while he was defeating local heroes back home. The seasoned official is aware of Federer's enduring reputation. 20 Grand Slam victories and a reputation for excellence around the world bear witness to his legacy. Federer, however, is a member of a generation that mostly watched sports on linear television and read traditional newspapers. Despite being enormous, his digital footprint was developed toward the end of his career. The warrior, the worldwide empire, and the Nadal ethos. Then there is Rafael Nadal. Nadal was heavy metal, if Federer was lyricism. Nadal burst into the scene wearing pirate pants and sleeveless shirts, bringing a level of strength, intensity, and sheer willpower that the sport had never seen before. His appeal was instinctive. Because Nadal battled for every point as though it were his last, his fans were able to relate to him. He established an international fan base that verged on religious devotion by controlling Roland Garros clay courts to an unfathomable degree. Rafael Nadal also established himself as tennis institution, which is important to our tale today. In Mallorca, Spain, he founded the Rafa Nadal Academy, transforming his legacy into a practical training ground for the upcoming generation of talented people around the world. Because of Nadal's prominence, the traditional and modern eras are connected. He has a huge social media following, is adored by everyone, and is highly regarded. How could a seasoned tennis official ever imply that a young Filipino has surpassed these three titans, the paradigm shift, and the digital attention economy, given that they symbolize the ultimate pinnacle of fame? This is the point at which we need to base our analysis on the facts of 2026. We must gently clarify a widespread misunderstanding about celebrity. Fame is no longer a static landmark. The river is flowing. Federer, Nadal, and Agassi will always have their legacy, historical significance, and widespread name recognition. Nobody is deleting their past. However, popularity is currently gauged by virality, engagement, and the sheer volume of everyday human attention. That has drastically altered. The broadcast age has given way to the algorithmic era. To be viewed during the broadcast period, a television network had to aim a camera at you. A lively, highly engaged audience is essential in the algorithmic age to get your content in front of millions of mobile feeds. This leads us to the change in sports consumption by geography. London, New York, Paris, and Melbourne were the tennis media's powerhouses for many years. However, Southeast Asia is currently home to the world's fastest-growing and most digitally aggressive markets. Alexandra Eala's phenomena. Let's welcome Alexandra Eala. You must comprehend the unique, unparalleled nature of Eala's ascent in order to comprehend the veteran official shock. Eala, who was born in the Philippines, recognized her extraordinary talent at a young age and made a pivotal choice. She relocated to Spain to train at the Rafa and Nadal Academy, which was founded by one of the giants we just talked about. This immediately provided her a story that bridged the gap between an emerging market and the world's tennis royalty. Alex started winning junior Grand Slams, earning the US Open Girls Singles Championship, and lifting junior doubles trophies at the French Open and Australian Open. She won for a country of more than 110 million people, not just for herself. The people of the Philippines are highly passionate, fiercely patriotic, and heavily online. This is a country that has historically halted completely, with no crime being reported in the streets for the sole purpose of watching Manny Pacquiao box. Basketball is the lifeblood of this country. However, the entire weight of that country's digital infrastructure turned on Alexandria as she began to make headlines on the world tennis scene. The Philippine Digital Army mobilizes and breaks down the official surprise whenever she takes the court, whether it's a high-profile WTA tournament in Dubai against elite opponents like Coco Gauff or a grueling match on the ITF circuit. Let's examine the specific observation made by the seasoned tennis official that led to this headline. The official is examining unprocessed real-time data. A well-curated snapshot of a charity event in Switzerland posted by Roger Federer, who is currently enjoying his well-earned retirement, is met with a great deal of respect, a predicted amount of likes, and kind, sentimental remarks. For a certain group of devoted followers, Andre Agassi's public appearances bring back good memories. The hourly digital frenzy of a budding star in the heat of competition is beyond even Rafael Nadal's commanding presence. However, the algorithm ignites when a video of Alexandra Eala striking an incredible down-the-line winner is shared on social media. The typical measurements of the Women's Tennis Association are shattered by the engagement rates, likes, shares, thousands upon thousands of comments in both Tagalog and English, fan cams, TikTok edits, and YouTube response videos. The official is taken aback by the comparison between the passive, settled, legacy-based popularity of the retired greats and the vibrant, daily frenzied energy of Eala's fan following. The everyday mentions of Agassi, Federer, and occasionally even Nadal are dwarfed by the trending themes, #volume, and interaction rates for Alexandra Eala and the Asian demography, according to the analytics on specific social media platforms on a random Tuesday. First, the change in the population. The official is seeing firsthand how powerful an unexplored market can be. The Western markets were overflowing with folk legends. A sizable and well-connected Southeast Asian demographic that was hitherto underrepresented at the top levels of international tennis is being activated by Eala. The relatability factor comes up at number 2. Today's fans connect in a different way. They want more than just Federer, the undisputed sports deity. A voyage is what they desire. They want to follow a young woman who is battling her way up the rankings, overcoming obstacles, sharing real-life updates on her experiences, and flying their flag internationally. During their active years, the closed-off legends of the past hardly ever gave access to Eala's trip in real time. The algorithmic bias comes in third. Platforms such as Instagram and TikTok strongly encourage quick, intense communication. When Agassi was winning Wimbledon or Federer was first establishing his domination, there simply was no feedback loop of viral popularity. However, the Philippine fan base interacts with information at a rate that algorithms love, propelling Eala's highlights into millions of feeds. A misinterpretation of this new reality is the source of the veteran official surprise. They are confronting the realities of targeted algorithmic internet fixation while viewing the sport through the prism of traditional broadcast ratings and historical status. There might not be 20 Grand Slams for Alexandra Eala. She is not under a lifetime deal with Rolex. People in Middle America still don't know her when they go down the street. She has become a titan in the digital ecosystem, however, when it comes to the metric of who is producing the most intense, passionate, and voluminous conversation minute by minute in one of the most inhabited locations on Earth. She is a symbol of a new sort of sports popularity that is based on community, patriotism, and the aggressive mobilization of an online fan base in addition to untouchable perfection. What can we conclude with certainty about this explosive news as we come to the end of our in-depth analysis? Although they were examining the statistics, the seasoned tennis official was not wholly incorrect. We must stay grounded on the facts in the absence of the appropriate context. In the annals of human athletics, Roger Federer's legacy, Rafael Nadal's immortality on the clay court, and Andre Agassi's cultural revolution are unchangeable. They serve as the cornerstone of the contemporary game. Their worldwide footprint cannot be erased. But the fame of nature has permanently altered. It is no longer easy to pass on the torch of popularity. It's what the supporters claim. Alexandra Eala's extraordinary ascent demonstrates that, in the hyper-connected world of today, a player does not have to wait until they have won 5 Grand Slams to create the involvement of a superstar. Eala has hacked the contemporary attention economy with the help of the Redefining Academy, a very engaged online presence, and the support of an extremely passionate country. She has demonstrated that local fervor magnified by international platforms may produce a daily volume of noise that genuinely shocks the sport's established gatekeepers. For tennis, this is a lovely time. It indicates that the sport is expanding. It is expanding to new parts of the world. Young athletes in Southeast Asia are being inspired by it since they witness someone who resembles them, hails from their area, controlling online discourse, and is battling her way to the top of the professional ranks. The stadium was constructed by the Big Three's popularity, but the people occupying the virtual seats right now are the energetic, boisterous, and fiercely devoted supporters of players like Alexandria. I appreciate you coming along on this highly in-depth exploration of how sports celebrity, legacy, and the new digital frontier of tennis are changing. Please remember to like, subscribe, and leave a comment if you liked this degree of in-depth examination. Who, in your opinion, has the most ardent tennis fan base nowadays?